Hi, good morning. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Sasha. I'm gonna be squinting because it's my first time seeing the sun today, and it is doing its thing, okay? Um, I'm back with another I just woke up. Let's do a book review. I'm gonna be trying to do two of these this morning. Wish me the best of luck. We're starting with the book I literally just finished 5 minutes ago. Real by Kennedy Ryan. This is my first Kennedy Ryan book, and that's intentional only because I've heard that her books are extremely emotional. Oh my god. Yeah, so I've heard her books are really emotional and they're contemporary romances. My shelves behind me are kind of an example of what I like to read most, and contemporary romance without having another element isn't really something I'm into. It's a little too real life for me sometimes. I think that will be changing going into 2025 because with my book club you can read with us. We're going to be voting on things. And also I'm part of another book club of women in my area. And so I think contemporary romances will be coming back into the mix of my reading for 2025. And I can't believe this is how I'm starting it off because this was 100 out of 10. This was incredible, and I got so freaking excited for it because I didn't know anything about this book except I thought it was her newest release. And then I checked the page. I don't remember what the page is called with all the copyright information. And it was copywritten in 2021 and then newly copywritten in 2024. So I'm kind of piecing together that this is maybe a re-release, like a new cover update, new title perhaps. I don't think it's a new title, but it's definitely a new cover because I've seen the original. And so I guess it's a re-release. So she's written it a few years ago and now it's being re-released. So her other works are maybe more they're newer. God, words are really hard when you don't have coffee. Anyway, that's not really important. I say all that to say I was trying to get her newest release as the book I wanted to read, and I found this one in my local library and was really excited about it once I read the little blurb, the little synopsis, and I find out that our female main character was on Broadway. I am a theater girly. I never did theater, but I was a dancer. I was way too scared to have to say lines. Like, you give me some choreography at 5, 6, 7, 8, I'm gonna kill it, okay? You give me lines, I suddenly forget to speak. It's why me doing these videos is still so wild, because I can't really do this in public. I film my videos when I am completely alone in my house, because I don't want anyone else to hear me talking like this. So, the stage fright is a thing. I love theater though. I just love it so much. So when I found out we were going from Broadway to Hollywood to like movies, I was so sold. I was so excited. I couldn't wait. And then knowing that there's a potential romance going to happen, and also knowing that it's going to be really emotional and vulnerable and digging out your heart a little bit, I was sat and I was ready for it. This next portion of the video, till the end pretty much, is gonna have some spoilers because I don't know how to talk about this book without the spoilers, and I don't know how to make you understand how shocked I was, genuinely, by the like conflict, which doesn't always mean between two people, but in the plot itself, like the big thing that happens towards the end. I genuinely out loud was like, oh shit, oh my god, and I was like in shock. My jaw was on the floor for a full chapter. And I can't explain that to you without giving some pretty big spoilers. So, before we dive into spoilers, here's what I'll say. You should read this if you like theater, if you like movies, if you like music and untold stories and Black artists who have not gotten enough media attention, and the civil rights movement is important to you, and chronic illness is important to you, and repairing family ties, and the grief of losing a parent, and how some people can put their career before any other relationships in their life, and how that sort of reverses when you find the right person. Those are like the main big themes I can think of right now for this book without really spoiling anything. And I think they all worked so well. Let me also just talk about, before we get into spoilers, the writing of this. So once she leaves Broadway, she starts doing this movie, right? That's the premise. We get that. Okay. Kennedy Ryan is kind of a genius because she put the script. Hold on, I gotta find a page. I'll find one. No, don't worry, I'll edit this out. Hello? There are so many places where it happens, and oh, yeah. She puts the script of the movie throughout the book. That's brilliant. And so not only is Kennedy Ryan writing a story about two characters, she's also essentially written an entire movie and plot about this musician and singer in like the 1920s, 1930s, started in Harlem, moved over to France, to Paris, because it was safer for Black people. And not only safer, but they were actually seen as artists and people and treated like they had talent. And okay, racism, big theme in the book. So yeah, not only is she weaving these two stories together of these two characters, she also wrote an entire fucking movie, pretty much, and has screenplays and the script in the book, so we can read along with our characters as they're performing these scenes. It was brilliant. It was some of the coolest stuff. And a thing you should know about me is that when I was growing up, I would religiously watch actor interviews and actor documentaries and just everything I could find on actors I liked, because I was so intensely fascinated with their lives and I wanted to just try it. I wanted to know all the behind the scenes stuff. I wanted to know when they film, like where you have to stand and like all the behind the scenes, all of the bloopers of movies and TV shows. Like, I'm so fascinated. I just wish I could be on set for like a month and just watch a thing being made. Like, that is so cool to me. But like, you're pretending to be someone else, but you're also yourself. It's just like, it's genuinely fascinating. So this book was like a peek behind the curtain for me as well into how many people it takes to make a movie like this, how important every single role in that movie is, all of the barriers to entry in this industry, especially for people of color, for Black people. I was obsessed, okay? So that's my non-spoiler part of the review. We're heading into spoilers. It's been great seeing you. If you don't want to see spoilers, I'll catch you in my next review. Spoilers ahead. I've warned you so many times. Here they come. So, our female main character is propelled to follow a scholarship to New Jersey, to Rutgers, after her sister and her fiance sleep together, have an affair, and her sister becomes pregnant. Yikes! That's how the book starts. And I was like, oh my god, when they said this would be emotional, she doesn't hold any punches. That is the most backstabbing thing I could think of anyone to do right in the beginning. It's a sister. I don't have sisters. I'm an only child, but I can imagine. I can imagine a friend doing that. My sister, my blood relative, the person I grew up with who knows all my secrets. Are you crazy? Except for the one secret I didn't know, which is that she's sleeping with my fiance. Wild. Okay, that's how the book starts. Then we learn that our female main character has her own hairstylist for the Broadway show, which is not like crazy out of the realm of possibility, because if you ever watched America's Next Top Model, you'll know they do not know what to do with black girls' hair. They really butcher a lot of it. And so yeah, having your own hairstylist as a black person in the industry makes total sense. But then it goes a layer further where she has her own hairstylist because she has lupus. And she makes it very clear it's not the life-threatening version of lupus. There are two different kinds, which is something I didn't even know, actually. So that was kind of eye-opening. And I have a friend who has lupus. So the whole time I was reading, I was like, I want to ask her about this, but I also don't want to trigger her, and it's personal. She hasn't shared that information with me. So until she does, I'm not going to ask. But now I have more information about the disease and the chronic illness in general. So, we also have our main male character whose mother had MS. And she insisted sort of that he film her because she was a photographer. He loved film in her last years of life. And after she passed away, he turned all of that footage into a documentary. It's what got it started. It's what got him started in his career as a film director. And so he deals with that grief of losing his mother. He also had one instance in the beginning of his career where he got in a relationship with one of his actresses, which is a little bit of an imbalance of power to begin with. And he realized that she was not the right person for him to pursue like a serious emotional connection with. So he broke it off with her. She threw such a fit that she got him fired from his job as the director on that movie. And then the movie tanked, which like it's a little ego boosting for him that he keeps mentioning, like, yeah, and then the movie tanked. It just kind of makes me giggle. But so he's jaded from his relationship with the actress. He promises never to do that again. He doesn't want to do relationships in general. He's very averse to that. And he's kind of just like a grumpy, really focused guy. But the attraction between them when they first meet is immediate and it is reciprocated. And most of this book is just them pretending it's not happening and being like, he's my director, she's my actress, we can't do this, it doesn't matter how I feel, this movie is more important. And it was actually really sweet the way that he approached it, because he knows what a big deal this is for her career, and he knows firsthand how hard it can be when it goes sideways and when the press get involved and when all of these things happen. So he's extremely protective of her right from the beginning, which is really beautiful and really, really sweet. You eventually get to a point where it's just like they have a break in the filming schedule and things end up happening. And then after that, every day off they spend together. Now, as we go through the novel, we do see a few clues that if you're looking for them, you'll find them. And as someone with chronic illness and who is disabled, it was very easy to spot what was coming, but I still didn't know it would be to the extent that it was. So she starts losing a lot of weight during filming, which she's dancing like 16 hours a day. She's, busy girl. So yeah, costuming is like, hey, you're losing weight. And then she starts getting the rashes back. And then she starts losing her hair again. And then she starts getting nauseous and really tired. And then she starts throwing up. And then she passes out on set. And this is the climax. This is the point where she's rushed to the hospital. He's freaking out because he has PTSD from his mom passing away. And now it's the woman he loves, and he realizes he loves her at the same time that she's the sickest she's ever been. They also just had a big fight, and now she's in the hospital. We find out she's in stage 4 kidney failure. So first, they say it as she's in kidney failure, and already I was like, oh shit. And then they go, and it's in stages, and I was like, B stage 1, B stage 1. They go stage 4, and I was like, holy shit. So I have some personal experience with the fear surrounding organ failure. I have some, when I get blood tests done, my liver likes to be a little shit sometimes. And it was getting really sick really fast. Like, your liver normal numbers should be around like 20. That's like an okay thing. Um, Even below that is okay. And I'm not a doctor, so like this is not medical advice. This is my experience. So my liver went from like 20 to 120 within a couple months, and I lost 50 pounds. We were all freaking out. It was a scary time. So I was just waiting for them to be like liver failure, because that was what was coming if I couldn't get my numbers under control. My numbers went back under control, so don't worry about it. However, they're elevated again now. So we're trying to deal with it and figure out what's going on. But anyway, so I intensely relate to like blood tests being irregular and hearing about your organ functions and them not doing what they're supposed to be doing. But our main character ended up needing a kidney transplant, which is wild. Like and you can think of Selena Gomez, because I'm almost positive this is what happened to her as well. And it's just crazy because when I think of lupus, I never think of the extreme version of it. And this book did a really great job with all of like the doctors and the appointments and talking about it. Like, I understand so much more about this disease than I ever have before, and it's because of this book. So I was really nervous. I was really nervous from that point on that, like, yeah, maybe she'll get the transplant, but we don't know that it's gonna work. And like, first she has to find a match and go on dialysis, and like, holy shit, that's a lot. Plus, they hadn't finished the movie. So on top of like her life is on the line, they haven't finished the movie. So if she like passed away, they would have an unfinished movie. She would never get her like big break as this amazing star. They have all this footage of her, but can they even use it if they don't have the end of the movie, which is all the parts of her singing? It's like, oh my god, I was stressing out. Okay. Thankfully, as a happily ever after, I won't spoil that for you. I was very happy with how it ended. The only thing I took personal issue with, and again, this is because I'm chronically ill and have too much experience in this arena, but I did see in the acknowledgments that she talked to 6 or 7 women with lupus to write this character and write this story. So I don't want to detract from their experiences whatsoever if this is something that they commented on and said like, yes, this is how it went for me, etc. Obviously, this is a very spicy book at times. The spice in the romance is great. I really enjoyed it. The one and only problem I had was they wait 2 months until after her surgery, after her transplant, and she initiates spicy times with him. And she's like, I'm not gonna break, like, you're not gonna break me, go harder, you know. And I have heard, not just from this book, but like in general, when a person is receiving a new organ and they're the one who needs it, they have an easier recovery than the person who's losing the organ, which makes a lot of sense to me. What doesn't make sense to me is that I personally had a surgery in April of this year. It's now December of this year. I'm still dealing with pain from that surgery. I can't imagine having the kind of spicy time they did 2 months after my surgery. But that, like, every single body is different. I had a less invasive surgery than the transplant anyway. Mine was laparoscopic. They took something out. That was it. And I'm still having issues, which is so fun for me. But for her to have a full transplant and then 2 months later be like, let's go, is a wild concept to me, but every body is different. People heal better. I have other chronic illnesses that mean that I don't heal well. That's like part of my chronic illness. So I don't know. It was just a little sticking point for me where I was like, wait a minute, this is not realistic for me as a reader. But I also understand that it could be totally realistic for someone else who doesn't have my issues in my body. So literally my only complaint is that. And everything else was brilliant and wonderful. And I wish I could see this movie they were making. And I wish I could watch all the documentaries. And every time they mentioned a actor or singer or artist in this book, I really wish they had like a QR code somewhere so you could scan it and then watch whoever they're talking about. I think that would be so fun to do a reread, and as I'm reading it, stop anytime they mention someone and go watch some of their stuff. I think you obviously need to read the whole book in its entirety first to get like a good cohesive story, but I think it would be so much fun to go back and to sort of pay tribute to all the artists and everyone mentioned in this. And yeah, this is one of my longest book reviews ever because I'm obsessed with it and I liked it so much. And I couldn't talk about it without giving you spoilers. So here we are. I love this book. I am a huge fan of Kennedy Ryan now. I will absolutely give her a chance in the future with whatever she writes next. I know she has other books out. I saw one in Target actually, and it did have to deal with someone who was married, and I don't typically love stories about like married people, but anyway, I would give it a try. So that's my long-winded early morning review of Real by Kennedy Ryan. It's real good. I liked it so much. I hope you pick this one up, or you know, if I've spoiled the whole thing for you, I don't know. I hope you've already read it and liked it as much as I did. I'm going to stop rambling. I have one more review to do, and then I can go eat breakfast. So thank you so much for watching today's video. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye!